He hits it hard, beats Higgs at cover, and that's 4 runs.
And there has been always a lot of needle between these two players, Richard Hadlee and Dennis Lillee, and we saw in the Australian innings where Lillee played many brilliant shots against Hadlee, who retaliated with some bouncers. We see the drive here through the covers, a little bit in the air for about 20 meters, but it went race to the boundary.
Four runs.
At all.
That is 6. That's a great hit. A very powerful hit of Richard Hadlee.
Absolutely a minimum of effort there. He just leant into the ball, swung through the line, and that fieldsman would have needed a pair of step ladders to gather that one.
Lillee. 2 runs to Hadlee, and a fine performance from him. His half-century coming in when the New Zealand innings was in tatters.
The Kiwis batted on relentlessly, piling on the runs and marching toward their first ever Test win on Australian soil.
And that one has been well hit, way back into the Clem Jones stand, about halfway up the pavilion. 6 to Richard Hadlee, and that takes New Zealand past a 300-run lead.
Not content with his magnificent bowling contribution, Richard Hadlee went after the Australian bowling with a vengeance.
And Hadlee is now going after him. Craig McDermott definitely slowing down as he gets to the crease. He's not building up to full pace in his run-up.
Going for the big hit. It's in the air, but he picks them up pretty well. That was an effortless hit and cleared the boundary fence out there for another 6 runs. Summed that one up beautifully. For a moment it looked as though it wasn't going to carry, and then suddenly it just had enough into it, and that brings up the 500.
He sped to his 50 with an assault on the hapless Holland.
That's in the air, just over the top of David Boone's head, down to the square leg boundary for 4. That one's high and it's going down towards Ritchie. Not quite getting to the boundary fence. Actually a bit of edge in that one. If he had a middle it may well have gone over the boundary at mid-wicket. Gone for it again, and that's going down to Ritchie, just over his head at 6. 16 runs coming from that over. And Richard Hadlee doesn't mind it spitting into him. He can smack it down to square leg then. And that's exactly what he did on that occasion.
Lillee, bearded and mean-looking, ran in from 30 yards, fast and straight at me. He delivered the ball at something like 90 miles an hour. That gave me 0.4 of a second to react and play a shot. Whack, a well-timed shot for 6. Lillee applauded the shot, and then he proceeded to draw a cross between my eyes.
Well, the crowd really enjoying that shot. What a tremendous shot it was from Richard Hadlee. He swung at Lillee and hit it about 20 yards up into the number 1 stand, and that was really a great shot. Lillee's reaction, however, will be most interesting.
I predicted a bouncer next ball. Then I used reverse psychology, hoping he'd pitch the ball up. He did. 4 runs. The crowd inspired me again, as they had done during that bowling spell of mine.
Another 4. Is it 6? No. Through mid-wicket. Bouncing a couple of times. Fine shot. Hadlee doesn't need to run for that one.
Lillee to Hadlee. Oh, he's hit this one high into number 1 stand. It won't be 6. First, second, third bounce is going to go into the fence for 4. Good shot. Hadlee's holding.
Bowling to Richard Hadlee. Oh, he goes for the big shot. It goes over cover. And there's no doubt about that. That's 4. He's holding wide, and he goes for the big shot past point, and that's 4 more.
Hadley again.
He stood there and hit it. That's 4 behind point. Hadley 17. It's 208 for 7.
Garner. Short, slashed, over cover. That should be 4. Yes, Collis King can't drag that one back. So Hadley on to 25. So Joel Garner resuming the attack to Richard Hadley. Swings Richard Hadley, it's in the air, down to mid-on, and Haynes is straight through Haynes, down to the boundary for 4. So Richard Hadley, again, facing Colin Croft. Full, driven, straight back over his head, a good shot, straight through and hard, and that's 4 runs. Again, similar shot, 4 more, great shot. A wee bit of room. Hadley forward, hitting it straight back over Croft's head. Similar shot. Forward. And there it goes. Almost an action replay. Garner, 6'8". Loping in. Short. Cut. Oh, it's beaten the field. There's a lot of fieldsmen out there, but it got through, and there's Hadley's 50. He hit that one through cover. It was short. Didn't come on that quickly. And he got over the top of it and hit it through between Gordon Greenwich and Lawrence Rowe. Garner dropping it short. Hadley getting hold of it in the air for some way, but plenty of power, and through to the cover boundary for 4. So Hadley on to 51. 10 no balls to his name. Bowling to Hadley. Short. Going for the hook. Loud appeal for a caught behind. That went close to the glove. Derek Murray not very happy. Thrown in short by Croft, looking to hook Hadley, angling in towards him. The left-hander. And the West Indies going up for the caught behind. Colin Croft not at all happy. This is what all the controversy's been about, similar incidents.
On this occasion, I stood my ground waiting for the decision. When bowling, there have been many occasions when I know I've had the batsman out, but the decision has gone against me. So, why should I go? Rightly or wrongly, I had placed the umpire in a position of making a possible mistake.
Steve Woodward, the other umpire, coming from square leg. No doubt Goodall and Woodward will have a word with Captain Clive Lloyd. We can only speculate at what's going on out there, but I imagine that following that loud appeal from the West Indians, Colin Croft was noticeably upset. He had a word or two to Fred Goodall, and this has prompted Goodall to go down and speak to Clive Lloyd. Croft to Hadley. No ball called, wide down the leg side. Croft's 11th no ball. New Zealand move on to 325. Things getting a little heated here.
As a fast bowler, I can understand Bomber Croft's frustrations. He was at boiling point. Then he overreacted in a manner that lacked total self-control and brought the game into disrepute. When batting, I could see that Bomber had altered his approach to the wicket by running in straighter than normal. Something was going to happen.
Well, he hit umpire Fred Goodall on his run-up. He ran deliberately close to umpire Goodall, struck him on the way through, and we see Fred Goodall moving down to Clive Lloyd. That was a deliberate...
Clive Lloyd, the captain, appeared to show a complete lack of interest and responsibility in diffusing a highly explosive situation. Quite frankly, he should have calmed his bowler and his teammates down. They were here to play cricket. By now they had lost all the public's respect. Had this been a soccer or rugby match, the player involved would have been sent off and possibly banned for life.
To move down to skipper Clive Lloyd. Unfortunate incident. One can only wonder where we go from here.
Short, hooked again. Holding makes no effort at all. It's 4 more. Hadley 21, New Zealand 342 for 6 wickets. Hadley facing Collis King from the northern end. Short, hit away, through mid-wicket. We'll wait for the umpire's signal. I've lost sight of it. That's 6, and a bottle of champagne for Richard Hadley. Hadley is 40.
Hadley cashing in here for some rather cheap runs with the way the West Indies are playing at the moment as Garner comes into it. Looking for a quick single, a bit of hesitation. Shy at the stumps by Gordon Greenwich, but it misses. And that is Hadley's 50. 378 for 6 New Zealand. Richard Hadley, 50.
Roberts to Hadley. Short. A wee push away, through points. That's going to be 4 runs. Finally hits. Richard Hadley is 91. His highest test score. He has now made 1,003 runs in test cricket. Richard Hadley becomes the first New Zealander to achieve the double of 1,000 runs and 100 wickets in tests. This is his 27th game for New Zealand in test matches. Roberts to Hadley. Short, pulled away off his face. That's a 6 into the number 4 stand. Richard Hadley is 98. New Zealand are 441 for 8 wickets. Kalacharran to Hadley. Short, there it is. 4 runs to the backward point boundary. Richard Hadley, 103. New Zealand, 446 for 8 wickets. Richard Hadley, born and bred in Christchurch, receiving the good wishes of his hometown crowd. Hadley 103, his first test century. New Zealand 4.
Look at that grip, rather high on the bat handle, and that's the reason he's able to swing the ball bat so freely and can hit the ball far.
Hadley latches onto that one. That's a fine shot. 4 runs written all over it.
Hafiz to Hadley. Short on the leg stump. Hadley runs it away down fine, and it's actually beaten the fine leg fielder. 4 runs to Hadley. Wasim Raja couldn't stop that one. Kadir to Hadley. Hadley going for the big hit over square leg. And it's 4 runs. Hadley moves to 23. Kadir to Hadley. Short outside the off stump. Hadley punishing that delivery. That's 4 backward of point. Takes Hadley on to 36. Hafiz coming into bowl. Flips it away on the leg side, and that's Reed's 100. A comfortable 2, backward of square. Takes Reed to 101.
1 short of his 10th test half century. And there it is. Back cutting Iqbal Kasim. The chase on for Hafiz. Hadley back for 2.
Oh, crunching drive from Richard Hadley. He just stands there and watches it. 4 to Hadley, and New Zealand have avoided the follow-on.
Nicely clipped by Hadley. Chase on here from McDermott. 2 runs taken very easily by Richard Hadley.
Which has helped him a bit too.
That's a good shot by Richard Hadley. A bad ball hit was punished. Hadley saw the length of it, he saw the width that he was given. It's 4 runs out to cover, so 151 for 5 is the score, and Richard Hadley is 20. He does this time. That's the 50 partnership. 4 runs. The long off to Richard Hadley. 157 for 5 is the New Zealand score. Richard Hadley is 24. It's not the ball you bowl to Richard Hadley. 1 for 57 for 5 is the New Zealand score. Richard Hadley is 24. It's not the ball you bowl to Richard Hadley. 157 for 5 is the New Zealand score. Richard Hadley is 24. It's not the ball you bowl to Richard Hadley. 157 for 5 is the New Zealand score. Richard Hadley is 24. It's not the ball you bowl to Richard Hadley. short, outside the off stump. Hadley onto the back.
That's a classical 4. And the 150 comes up.
Favourite strokes, a square cut, forcing stroke off the back foot, and the straight drive off the quick bowlers, and Greg Thomas is coming back. Hadley can't stop that one. Don't give Hadley any room outside that off stump. And this time it's evaded Athey. There's no one covering.
Yes, full toss. Well, what else does this man have to do in one match? Richard Hadley reaches his half-century. Innings without chance, but it's been a responsible innings because his side were faltering. He came into the score 144 for 5, and now it's 207 for 5.
Only just out of Bruce French's reach, but far enough. Gatting has come out of the slips. He has a very square gully. 2 men on the offside saving the single or the 4. And there it is, providing you're straight enough. Lovely shot. Beautifully timed and placed.
That's it, and Greg Thomas gets Richard Hadley. It's Graham Gooch, the man who dropped the catch earlier on, who this time safely pouches it. And so this fine innings has come to an end. Richard Hadley caught Gooch, bowled Thomas. 68, it's 2:39 for 6.
Look now at the second Test match at Lord's, where you have the privilege of leading out the New Zealand team. That was a magnificent strike. He's a very strong player. Only made one when he faced that ball. It's a better shot, if anything. Wasn't all that short. And I suspect it may have been the top spinner as well. Given that plenty. I like this. This is good fun. Not for Gladstone Small, I guess, but certainly in the commentary box and sitting around the ground, there's plenty to enjoy. That's a cracking shot.
Lovely shot off the back foot. No need to chase it.
Give him the slightest amount of room and he'll make a little bit more for himself. The crowd love it. No need for anybody to move for that. Certainly not Hadley. 4 more. It is exactly the sort of innings that John Wright wanted, and New Zealand, what they think of it, and the crowd. And a splendid innings in what's probably his last appearance with the bat on this ground.
To Richard Hadley on 50. A magnificent stroke off the back foot. He really does give that ball some stick.
And that's tucked away again. Tucked, 1 bounce for 4. One of a natural eye. It was very short, but it did bounce a bit. It's in the gap. It's in the gap. It's just a flick. What timing! A crippling bit of fielding, that. It middled him on the shins. It still went for 4. It was only the sprint by Devon Malcolm got the blood going again.
Gooch has a chase there. Even though Hadley didn't quite get that off the meat of the bat, it has gone away at a terrific rate up the hill. Hadley goes to 81. New Zealand go to 402. This afternoon's entertainment has been magnificent. That's beaten Devon Malcolm. That's a beautiful shot by Richard Hadley. He'll be disappointed with that, but I had the feeling that he'd set himself in this game just after he'd been knighted, that he'd motivated himself. If New Zealand couldn't win the game, that a century was there for the taking. So Eddie Hemmings deserves the wicket. He flighted that up, gave Hadley a chance to hit, and now a marvellous ovation for Richard Hadley.
That's a fine shot off the back foot. Rock back, giving himself time, and timed it very sweetly indeed. Well, that's in the air, but safely over mid-off. Well, that's the way Richard Hadley plays his cricket, and he'd be wise, one would imagine, to carry on in this vein. Not the type of player who can push up and down the line and try and hold out.
Well, that's a good shot. Almost as though Richard Hadley was waiting for that, saying to himself, the bounce is coming, the bounce is coming. Didn't time that, but it's going to give Bob Willis a tough time in pulling it up before the boundary. He just flailed it away down the ground.
10 runs off those last 3 deliveries.
And it's gone for 4. And that won't worry anyone out there too much, except Ian Botham. 4 runs to Richard Hadley. No man straight down the ground. 250 comes up for New Zealand. Four more, there's no man at third man. Went past Alan Lamb at catchable height and at about 130 miles an hour. 50 to Richard Hadley. 66 balls faced and 11 boundaries. So he's having a very good match. He's reached 200 wickets in Test match cricket in this game.
And off in typical style. Harsh treatment for Cowan's first delivery. Clattered over mid-on for 4. That's 4 more without any bother at all. Immensely powerful, both a front foot and back foot.
Well, even the Battle of Britain Memorial flight recognised the achievements of Richard Hadley. He's locked that away behind square leg. So they'll allow him to pick up 4 there. Hadley's gone to 71. And that's the end. That's the end of things, with England winning by 165 runs. John Bracewell caught Taylor Bowles-Smith for 28, and Richard Hadley remained 92 not out. Disappointment there that he didn't make a century, but it was a delightful innings and a first-class performance from one of the world's leading all-rounders.
And didn't bowl particularly well. Tony Pygott came into the side, that Ian Botham, of course, and Bob Willis. Both didn't bowl that well. And even though we lost a few sort of early wickets, we managed to get out of it. And I managed to cream my way to 99 with a little bit of width that the bowlers gave me. They bowled a little bit short and a bit wide and a bit full, and allowed me to play the way that I like to play, and that is to attack and hit the ball. And I just flayed it everywhere and kept chasing it and hit some beautiful shots.
A wide one, he gets hold of it reasonably well. It may not go for 4. Getting after it, but he can't pull it in. Short one, Hadley pulling. It's in front of square. Going out to the number 3 stand for 4 runs. Cramped, rather cramped with the shot, but still getting 4 for it. So Hadley racing forward now on to 59. He's flicked this one over the top though. That's 4 runs to Hadley. Pygott trying to tighten his line up to Hadley, but drifting down the leg side. He clips it just in front of square, and so he goes on to 70.
Bold shot by Richard Hadley, and he found the gap, which wasn't very wide, between long off and a deepish extra cover. And Richard Hadley has powered his way to 88. New Zealand at 270 for 6. Hadley 12 runs short of what would be his second Test century, facing Tony Pygott. And again, he's hit it in the air, and he's again found a gap, which wasn't very wide, this time down behind square on the leg side. And Richard Hadley moves into the 90s, and I suspect for him they're not too nervous 90s today. He's 92, and New Zealand is 274. Oh, a glorious shot from Richard Hadlee. One bounce for 4. Richard Hadlee is 96. New Zealand at 278 for 6 wickets. An appeal for a catch behind, and Richard Hadlee is out. Oh, what tragedy for Hadlee.
Oh, he's cracked that through the offside. Lovely shot from Hadlee. Over pitch ball. Just gave himself room. So Richard Hadlee moves on to 12. The total of 191 for 4.
Beautiful square drive. Almost as though Hadlee was waiting for the slightly over-pitched delivery, and that gives him his half-century. Successive half-centuries in the Oval Test, and here he's hit 8 fours. It's his 7th 50 for New Zealand. It's not including the century he's made as well. 52 not out. One of the great all-rounders of world cricket.
Gone for the big one, and he's middled that over the top of mid-off. Didn't quite pick it up as he would have liked, but it's racing away down there. And it's a very good piece of fielding and chasing by Limlang. Had a marvellous day in the field here yesterday. And he's gone for another. He's middled that in a fine style. Right over the top of extra cover. That rattles away for 4 runs.
And for England, Richard Hadlee at long last goes. But before long, Richard found himself batting with New Zealand 41 for 5.
And he's hammered it straight past him for 4. Thought the challenge might be on there for Hadlee. Wasn't, in fact, too far away for a caught and bowled. And that's another one over the top. And it's 4 more. Will he put a man out now? That's another good shot. Struck very firmly off the back foot. No mid-off. Gives a long chase for Graham Fowler right down to the Vauxhall end. He's given it up. Willis finally out of the slips into mid-off. And that's cracked away again off the back foot. Fowler being kept busy. This Surrey outfield very, very fast. It's 4 more. That wasn't hit with a great deal of power, but skimmed away over the ropes.
Shot 4. Very strong on the offside, Richard Hadlee. He's a good judge of which ball to hit. Up comes the 100. 102 for 5 now. That's a fine hit. Beautiful hit for 6 straight down the ground. Magnificent timing there by Richard Hadlee. Good shot. It was aimed at about Midland leg, and Hadlee had to get around it so he could play it straight down the ground, but it was beautifully placed. Nice shot. Good timing by Hadlee, and that'll bring up his half-century. What a very good innings it's been.
Well, that's a great shot. My word, no need to run at all. First ball, cavalier treatment over the top of extra cover for 4 runs.
Great shot. No sooner had it cracked off the bat than it was whistling away into those covers at square point. And he's cotton bowling. Well, I don't think that can have been in the planning. I'm very happy to give credit where it's due, but what a good innings from Richard Hadlee. The 8th wicket going down at 182. With Hadlee, cotton bowled both of them after a good partnership with Warren Lees.